Okay guys, I've got everything marked out. I've got the back panel, I've got the two check sides, and then I've got the pen holder. I'm not going to do that piece in between and the cardboard. I know why he did that, and I like it, but this piece of leather actually is a pretty nice piece of leather. For the price I paid for it, it better be a nice piece of leather. This was really expensive leather. So it's time to cut out. I just have the paper template so far. Once I confirm that this is the way I want it, I'll put it into the cardstock so that I've got a really nice template. So we'll go from there. Let's start actually cutting the leather out and stuff like that. I'm going to stand up and do some of this. So I'm just kind of doing the rough cuts quick. And then once I get my rough cuts done, I'll show you how I go from there. This used to be a piece that was about, it's like 7 feet long. And this is what it's down to now. So now we're going to come through and actually cut the pieces like I want them to be cut. And I'm just using the straight edge to make sure I've got a straight edge. So this is going to be that pen holder. So then these are the two inside pockets that I'm cutting now. It'd be this part and this part. This part is right here. The pen holder part is going to be right there. The backing, the cork backing on these are awesome when you're working with paper, but sometimes you just got to flip them over because they grab too much with the leather. Now usually I'm really talkative, but I'm trying to keep concentrated on what I'm doing. So that's kind of why I get really quiet, because I want to make sure I do this right. All right, so these are the two inside pockets that will go in this area. Now for the actual back piece, that'll be across here. Now you saw how I kind of veered off that way. That's why I'm keeping the ruler on the side that's the piece, because that way I can't cut through the ruler. If I miscut, I cut onto the scrap and not onto my good piece. So even with a miscut, I still got a good edge there. And that's why I'm coming in and I'm coming on the good side and putting my ruler and making my cut. That way if I screw up, I screw up to my scrap edge and not to my piece that I'm actually working on. The other thing I'm making sure is that my fingertips are on this side of the ruler edge, because if I get them over and I come back with that head knife, it'll take my fingertips right off. So that's the other thing I'm kind of doing. And then I'll show you a couple of things real quick with the design that I made for this actual piece, this checkbook. I'm going to go and I'm going to nick the corners. I actually have a little round. Let's see if I can angle it so I can show you guys, but yet still stay in a safe area. Okay, when you nick off the edge there, you just make a straight lines. You're not actually trying to make that curve, and it comes out straight with all that. Just go through, make sure it's good. And hello, Ghost Kitty. He's looking out the window since hasn't been a nice spring. I'm sure everybody knows that. It's been actually a lot of snow this spring. So I have the window open right now, or the shade pulled up, just so I'm using the natural light from there, and the cat likes to look out at the birds. So, and the same thing, instead of trying to form that curve, it's just several straight cuts. And then what I've done is, I'll show you on the, now this is the same leather I made this sheath out of. And I know I did a review because I accidentally had a design flaw with this, and I know I put that up on the YouTube channel. Alright, So most of this scrap, oh, she saw herself in the camera. She's no, you're not going to go after my camera. So I made it so that these are too big, and I did it for a reason. So the reason why I made this too big, this way it's just right, this way it's too big, and I did that for a reason. The reason is when I stamp and tool these, it's going to change shape a little bit. And if I made this exactly the same as this right now, and I went and stamped and tooled it, and then it changes shape, this doesn't change shape along with it. So I would have bad edges. So what I'm going to do is when I come down and it's time to put this together, what I'll do is I'll draw my line of the way it is after the shape's changed and all that. And then I'll cut that out so that it matches these two and I have a good edge. That's why I made it just a little bit longer. This, I'm not going to tool at all, so I'm not too worried about that. So now that I got that done, I'm going to set up for my tooling. Now on this one, he has KKE and then the horse head. Well, the unicorn head. I'm going to change it up a little bit because this is his design. This is his. So I'm going to change it up. I'm going to put the horse on one side, the KKE on the other side. I don't want to bend it too much because it's not wet yet. So on one side, I'm going to have the KKE. On this side, I'll do the tooling of the horse. And once I get that all set up, I'm going to find some pictures on the internet for a unicorn. And I'm going to go from there. Then I'll come back and I'll show you how I do the tooling on this.